Hey food fans, welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. Well, the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer, and the temperature is cooling off, which can only mean one thing. Fall has arrived. And since fall is here, that's the perfect time to make apple pie. We're going to start with our pie crust. I've already gone ahead and made the pie crust. You can see the short here or here somewhere to see how I made it. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the crust into my pie pan. I've already rolled it out, so now I'm just going to press it in. You want to make sure that it's totally on the bottom, but you want a little bit of the crust hanging over the edge. Now I'm just going to trim off all the excess, making sure that I leave at least an inch along the edge. It doesn't look very pretty, but we'll make sure that it looks a lot prettier when we go to put it in the oven. I'm going to take my crust and I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it cool down until I'm ready to add my apple mixture to it. Into the fridge it goes and we'll be right back. Now it's time to make the crumble. For our crumble, we're going to add a cup of flour, a third of a cup of packed brown sugar, and a quarter of a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and salt. We're going to give that a mix, and I'm going to use my hands because I find that my hands mix the best. Make sure that you get all the lumps out of the brown sugar. Once that's mixed, we're going to add a half a cup of soft butter. You want this to be room temperature so you can mix it in with the flour brown sugar mixture. Again, I'm just going to use my hands because I find that that's the best way to mix it. If you have a pastry cutter, you can use that, or you can use a fork. What you actually want to do is break your butter up into little pea-sized pieces. Make sure you get it incorporated with the flour and the brown sugar. It's going to take a minute just to make sure that it's all incorporated, but you'll know all of a sudden all the flour will be mixed. So your crumble should look like this. If you squeeze it, it should hold together, but if you rub it, it should all peel apart. So I'm just going to wash my hands and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now it's time to make the apple filling. For this, you're going to need 3 pounds of apples. I had about 12 medium to large apples on my counter. That's what I've used. It was just over 3 pounds. Use however many that you need to make up the 3 pounds. These have all been sliced into about a 1/4 inch, maybe a slightly bit bigger than 1/4 inch slices, and I've got them in the bowl ready to go. The apples that I've used today are Honeycrisp. You can use just about any kind of apples. A spy apple looks really good for a pie, and so does Macintosh. But you can use whatever apples that you like. Now to our apples, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. The lemon juice is supposed to keep the apples from browning up too much. I'm just going to let these apples sit for a minute or two. I'm just going to wash my hands. I'm going to grab my crust and the topping, and we'll be right back to assemble the pie. Okay, we're ready to start assembling our pie. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to crimp the edges of my shell just to make sure that all my apples stay in. To do that, I'm just going to put the 2 fingers down and pull it back with my thumb. Okay, so we're ready to add our apples. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon them into the crust to start so I don't have the big bowl that I'm trying to maneuver. You will wonder if all the apples are going to fit. They will. Okay, so I was wrong. They didn't all fit. But we've got a good load of apples here, and I think I'm going to stop there because if I add any more, they're just all going to fall out. The next thing we want to do is we want to add our crumble topping. You're just going to take your topping and you're just going to crumble it on the top. You can use as much or as little as you like. If you like a lot of crumble on the top, then you can just keep going. If you only want a little bit, don't add it all. The other thing you can do with your crumble topping is if you like oatmeal, you can always add oatmeal to this as well. Okay, our pie is ready to go in the oven. The first thing I'm going to do before I put it in the oven is I'm going to put some tin foil down on a cookie sheet, and I'm going to put the pie on top of the cookie sheet. That way, if the pie spills over, it's going to spill over onto the tinfoil cookie sheet and not onto the bottom of your oven. So we're going to bake this pie at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to turn the oven down to 350 degrees and cook until the apples are tender. And welcome back. Our pie has come out of the oven. I've left it on the counter to cool for a few minutes. I've also cut myself a piece, so let's try it. That's very good. You can taste the cinnamon, the spices. The apples are absolutely amazing, and that crumb topping is fantastic. The only thing that could taste better would be a little bit of ice cream. And if you want, you can check out our video on peach ice cream here or here. Anyway, go back and see it. It tastes really good with apple pie. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to make sure you subscribe to our videos. Hit the like button and comment down below. Do you like apple pie? Or better yet, what else would you like to see us cook? And don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. So good.